You've probably heard that if something sounds too good to be true, it usually is. And with its high base pay, flexible schedules, and opportunities for students, many people say that vector marketing is one of those too good to be true opportunities. Others say it's actually a great opportunity. So, who do you believe? If you're feeling skeptical about vector marketing, this video is for you. Today, I will be interviewing Vector Marketing's public relations and social media manager, Joel Kosinski. And I want to go directly to the source and ask him his take on these things that people consider to be too good to be true about vector marketing, hopefully in 15 minutes or less. My name is Mimi, and I'm a former sales representative with Vector Marketing, here to help you get more information about the company. I know from firsthand experience that the sales representative position is not for everybody. So I'm not here to try to convince you to try it. I'm really just here to help you condense your research and get all of the facts in one place. So now, before I get into the interview, I want to tell you the 4 main points that I plan on asking Joel about, because it seems like these 4 points are what people are most skeptical about. And those include the pay structure, the actual sales structure of the company, why sales representatives start with their friends and family, and also the recruitment of the sales representatives. So if you're interested in hearing about those 4 topics, just stay tuned. But if you'd rather skip to just hearing about one of those topics, I'll have timestamps down in the description below so you can skip to a specific point in the video. So let's get into it. All right, so I am on with Joel Kosinski. Joel, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you, Mimi?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for being on and letting me ask you a few questions. And to jump right into it, I know a lot of people who search online for information about vector marketing, read some of the stuff, they hear about the pay, the flexibility, and a lot of them think it's too good to be true. What are your thoughts on that?
Too good to be true. Yeah, let's talk about that. I would just say first off, if you're doing research, kudos to you. Not that you needed that, but I personally believe that everybody should do research when making decisions, right? No matter if those are career or work-related decisions or, life decisions. And because of that, I think it's really important that you search to answer the question of what is true on both sides. So I'm really glad that you're asking that question. That question also has a challenging part, which is the internet and social media, right? And all the information. So what is true, right? So in relation to, right, working with vector marketing, as you're searching, some people may say it's the best thing ever. Some people may say, waste of time, too good to be true, scam, right? So you're probably hearing a couple of those different perspectives there. It's just confusing is what I'm trying to say. What if the reason that a lot of people said it was too good to be true or were originally skeptical is because it was different? What if that was it, right? And I'll explain that real quick. So it's a different type of position, right? And because it's different, it makes you skeptical at first. It's the unknown, right? It's something new. It's not the norm. And it's different than a lot of work options out there. And what if because it was different, that some let them, that concept hold them back from trying, right? So too much new. I just wanted something normal this summer, right? To just a normal job. And so it's, hey, it's too good to be true. It's different. You're just not going to get into it. And then other realize that as you're doing research, maybe you find out that, yeah, there are parts of it that's very different compared to a normal work, but that's okay, right? So I truly believe that anybody can succeed whenever they embrace that, hey, it's different, but I'm going to jump in and I'm going to give it my best. Right work ethic, right attitude. Now, are some people going to be naturally better at sales? 100%, right? That's the way it is. Y'all know that person. We have students all over the country that are, working part-time, but making really, really good income around their previous commitments. Now, do some people sell nothing? Absolutely, right? But at least they gave sales a shot. They're paid for every single appointment that they do. And sales isn't for everyone, Mimi. And I think we can all agree on that, right? But I believe that it can benefit everyone who gives it a shot. And in my opinion, Vector and Cutco, it's a great opportunity to get out there, give it a shot, give it your best, and the only significant investment is time.
All right, great. And the next question that I wanted to ask you was just regarding the pay. Because a lot of the people who hear about the position, a lot of them are students, and they're not used to seeing such a high base pay. So would you want to speak to that?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to. Chances are, if you were approached to work with Vector Marketing, you probably saw a rate of pay, and it probably looked real funky, right? It was like $18 base / APPT. You look at that thing and it's like, what the heck does that mean? And I think you originally, what at least I did whenever I saw the position advertised 13 years ago, whenever I first got started, was I associated that number with an hourly wage. I just did. That's all I knew, right? That was normal. This new way of saying it was just so different. So I assumed hourly. It is not hourly. It's different, and I'll explain exactly what that means. So Cutco sales reps are paid two ways, and only two ways. So the first way is every Cutco appointment completed with a qualified customer, they're guaranteed a base pay for completing that appointment. And of course, that dollar amount ranges based on where they are in the United States. But the reason that we do a base pay is it just helps the representative feel really comfortable presenting, because they know that, hey, even if the customer does not place an order today, they're still getting paid that guaranteed base rate of pay, right? In the second way, that a representative gets paid is based on performance, so commission, right? And this ranges anywhere from 10 to 30%, and it depends on career sales. And there's bonuses above that as well. So that representative has a guaranteed base pay, so they never have to worry about getting paid less than that, but they can always get paid more as they improve their skill sets. And that doesn't necessarily mean they have to be more high pressure, maybe, because I know that's kind of what goes through my mindset there. It just means that they have probably an increase in confidence, right? They've done more presentations, they're more comfortable with the approach, they're quicker to answer customer questions and support the customer whenever they see something they like. So if you've never done something paid on performance, then it can look really different, right? So if you're expecting hourly, then the higher base pay rate is probably something that's like, whoa, that could be perceived as too good to be true, right? Especially whenever it's like, oh yeah, and you can make commission on top of that. Once again, it's just different. So if you're someone that traditionally outworks others at other jobs in the past, but you get the same pay, that's not the case with performance-based pay like I'm describing here with Vector.
So the next question that I want to ask you is about the sales structure of how Vector Marketing is set up. So is Vector Marketing an MLM or a multi-level marketing company?
Vector Marketing is a single level direct sales company, meaning our reps only get paid from the sales of a product, which is Cutco, not the recruitment of friends, right? Like a percentage of friend sales, which is commonly the compensation plan for a multi-level marketing company. Another difference in us and a multi-level marketing company is there's no startup cost with that. Right? In other words, our sales reps aren't our customers. We would not do well if that were the case, right? We oftentimes get looped into that MLM crowd just because we're in the same industry. And that industry is sales, and more specifically, direct sales.
So another question kind of about the sales structure. Why does Vector Marketing choose to work with students rather than like professionals or people in their career?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that was also one that I had 13 years ago whenever I heard about the position, because I actually got an invitation to apply through the mail. Different, right? I was thinking, wow, why me? I'm 19 years old. That was definitely a thought that entered my mind. Like, what do I have to offer? You know what I mean? All I'd done in my life was manual labor work or lifeguarding. And so it wasn't anything special. So it caught me off guard. And then I saw the base pay. It's like, whoa, that's double what I'm used to making hourly, right? So it was an invitation to apply through mail that originally for me as a student was like, oh, this could be too good to be true. So initially, I was a little bit skeptical. So let me answer the question of why students. I guess I was thinking back to me being a student in research. So thinking through that. When you're at the age of, I would say 18 to 24, you're probably not used to being recruited for work, especially when you really don't have that much professional work experience. So when you are, it could bring about that question of why, right? Almost some skepticism there too, like you alluded to. So chances are, if you're watching this, you may have actually received one of those recruitment messages. Maybe it's from a friend that referred you. Maybe it was from a social media message, maybe a letter in the mail, maybe through your school. And you may have asked yourself, like, why me? And I'll say this, our sales force is primarily comprised of students, not because that's the only demographic that we want to work with, but those are traditionally the ones who are looking for entry-level positions that require zero work experience. Right? So that way they can start their path in the professional environment. They can start to build their skill sets that would make them more marketable for the future. As being a student myself years ago, there's a lot of limitations that you face, right? In terms of being career ready, everybody's asking that question of how can I be more marketable for the future? And a lot of companies won't give students an opportunity to get those skills, right? That they can really develop to be more marketable. So, while working with us, it's our goal that regardless of age or anything like that, that you are equipped with the skills needed for the real world.
All right. And last question that I have for you is, I know from personal experience, when I was a sales representative, it was very different than starting any other position that I'd worked in the past, because when you start with vector marketing, you actually start with your own personal network of your friends and family. And that is something that I know a lot of people are just like kind of weirded out by because they're not used to it. Would you want to speak to why vector marketing starts that way?
Yeah, sure. That's a great question, by the way. If it's my first couple weeks at a normal job, I'm basically, hourly paid job. I'm showing up at a scheduled time. I'm doing the work, then I'm going home when they tell me. This is different in the sense that it's a different position altogether. It's sales. So in sales, if you talk to somebody that's in sales, their first couple weeks is about quote unquote building their book, right? Or if you think about like starting a business, the first couple weeks of starting a business is very different than showing up to an hourly paid job. So it changes the starting point. You see that? So once again, back to us being fundamentally different in the sense that it's not a normal thing, or it's a little bit different. So you have to think about it. So whenever you start anything, I guess speaking specifically to you in your question there is, whenever you start anything new, I believe that having the encouragement and support of a peer group makes any new endeavor so much easier to push through. So in my opinion, just from my personal experience, what better support than people that love me, right?
Right.
And I'd never done a position like that ever before. So I was really glad that, number one, they didn't have to feel pressured to buy anything because I was getting paid regardless. But at the same time, if they did want to purchase something, I wasn't going to tell them no, right? So it was kind of this thing where I didn't feel like I was ever taking advantage of them. I was just getting repetition, practicing. And hey, if they wanted to purchase something, sweet, right? So that's kind of the way I looked at it fundamentally. So I think it's different in terms of the way that you have to look at it compared to a normal job. But then also I would look at it in terms of you're not really doing something negative towards someone, right? Like I have to do this. Like I'm really just presenting, I'm getting better. And hey, if they want to buy something, great. If they don't, it's no big deal. Because either way, I get paid and I'm getting repetitions and getting better.
Great. Awesome. I think that's all the questions that I had for you. So thank you again so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to speak with me.
Yeah, thanks, Mimi.
So there you have it. If you have any more questions about vector marketing or any video suggestions for me, feel free to leave them in the comments below and I will do my best to get back to you. Also, if you liked this video and you want to see more videos about vector marketing, don't forget to subscribe below. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye.